Very good morning, children. Welcome to the online classes of English. As we have completed the syllabus of our English till the month of May, we are doing our revision works, and today we are going to start with the revision of the first chapter of your English Reader book. The name of the chapter is Three Questions. Let's start the chapter. So, the thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew three things. These three things were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So, these are the three questions that came to a king's mind. And he thought that if he knew the answers to these three questions, he would be the wisest king in the earth all around. So the king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these three questions. So what did the king do? The king sent his messengers to all around the kingdom, promising them to give a large sum of money, as you can say, as present or as gift, to whomever answers these three questions. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. So many people came there, they answered to those questions differently, but those answers were not at all liked by the king. He was not satisfied by the answers. So in reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time. So what happened in reply to the first question? Some said, the first question, what was the first question? Let us see. The first question was, what is the right time to begin something? So in reply to the first question, somebody said that the king must prepare a timetable. So what is the right time to begin something? To answer to this question, somebody said that the king should prepare a timetable and then he should follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything in a proper time. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. So other people said that it is impossible to decide in advance the right time of doing anything. So in advance, it is very difficult for us to know what is going to be in a coming future. How are we going to deal things with in the future? So how can we decide that what is the right time to do any work? So deciding about the future is impossible according to some people. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. So some said that he should always do whatever seemed necessary. Necessary things should be done first. Yet some other people also said that the king needed a council of wise men who could help him in doing all these works in proper time. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others the right time for every action. So, according to some people, doing any work in a proper way is difficult until and unless he takes suggestions from other people. So if he has a council of wise men with him, only the king is not there to decide, then everybody could help the king to take the proper decision in proper time. So by that way, the king could take proper decision in proper time. But then others said that there were some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future, and only magicians could do that. The king, therefore, would have to go to the magicians. Some people also said that to do proper things in proper time in the future, it's very important for us to know about the future. We should know what is going to happen in the future first. Only when we know that what is going to happen in the future, then only we can take proper decision in proper time, and we are not going to make mistake then. So in that case, future is detected by the magicians only. So in that case, the king has to go to the magicians. In their answer to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others said the priests. A few others chose the doctors, and yet others said that his soldiers were the most necessary things. So the second question of the king was which people should he listen to? So the second question was which people he should listen to. So in answer to the second question, some said that he should listen to the counselors, some said that he should listen to the priests, some also said that he should choose the doctors, and some said he should listen to the soldiers. To the third question, some said science, others choose fighting, and yet others religious worship. So what was the third question? The third question was, what is the most important thing for him to do? So answer to this question, some people said that science is the most important work he should do. Others said fighting is the most important work he should do, and some also said that religious worshipping is the most important work that he should do. As the answer to his questions was so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. So there were many people coming from all around the kingdom to answer the three questions given by the king. The three questions which the king thought about. But the king was at last, not till now, he was not satisfied by the answers which he got from the people from all around the kingdom. He decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So there was a hermit. Hermit is a person who lives alone and leads a simple life. Like we say Sant, Mahatma, Sadhu in Hindi. So there was a hermit. He thought of going to the hermit and take suggestions from the hermit only, because he was known by many people all around for his wisdom. Hermit lived in a wood which he never left. He saw no one but simple people, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his house with his bodyguard and went on alone. So what happened? The hermit used to live in the wood. Wood here means a forest. So he used to live in the woods, in the forest, and never left from there. So he saw no one but simple people over there, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. So the hermit did not meet special people at all. He used to meet the simple people only. So what did the king do? The king wore simple clothes like ordinary people, and then he went alone with his bodyguard only to the hermit. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. So what happened? As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the digging the ground, digging the earth in front of his house. He greeted the king and continued digging. Greeted in a simple way, not because he was a king, he greeted him as people do for any other people. So he greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. So, since the hermit was old, he was weak from within. So, whenever he was digging, although he was doing his own work by himself, he was breathing heavily for that because he was becoming tired. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? So these are the 3 questions which he needs to know. And he asked the hermit about these 3 questions. The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work on your place. So what happened? The hermit listened to the king, but he did not speak anything. The hermit did his work continuously. So what happened? The king said that you seem to be tired. You're so tired. You're breathing so heavily. So the hermit listened to the king but did not speak anything. He continued digging. The king said that you seem to be tired. Let me take your spade and do the work for you in your place. Thanks, said the hermit, giving the king his spade. Then he sat down on the ground. So what happened? Thanks, he said. He handed over the spade to the king and then sat down on the ground, relaxing. So, when the king had dug 2 beds, he stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer, but stood up, stretching out his hands for the spade, and said, Now you rest and let me work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. So, what happened when the king dug the ground and he completed digging 2 beds? 2 flower beds or vegetable beds, where beds are the areas which is dug to plant any crop. So 2 beds were dug. The king now seemed to be a little bit tired. He stopped and repeated his questions. He asked the hermit that, please answer my questions. He stood up, stretched out his hands. Why? Just to relax. So the hermit said, Now you rest and let me work. But the king did not give him the spade. He continued digging. 1 hour passed, then another. The sun went down behind the trees. The sun went down behind the trees here means the sun set. The day ended. The day was finished and it was night now. And at last the king struck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me no answer, tell me so and I will return home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. So what happened when the day passed? The king worked for the whole day, nearly the whole day for the hermit, but still the hermit did not answer anything. So what happened? The king said that, wise men, I came here to get the answers to my questions from you. But if you don't have any answer to the questions what I am asking, please tell me, please let me know. I will return back to my home. Here comes someone running, said the hermit. So this hermit said that here somebody is running and coming towards us. So this is the end of the first part of the story. We are going to continue the second part of the story in our next class. Before that, let us discuss the comprehension check questions. The first question is, why did the king want to know answer to 3 questions? So why did the king wanted to know the answers to the 3 questions? Because they were constantly worrying him. The 3 questions were constantly worrying him that how could he be a proper person. These 3 questions, if he get the answers to these 3 questions, he will be a proper man. The next question is, messengers went sent throughout the kingdom. Why were they sent? To fetch wise men, to find answer to the three questions, to look for the wise hermit, to announce the reward for those who could answer the question. So the answer would definitely be the second one, to find answers to the questions. So these are the questions. There are only 2 questions, I hope. So let us end here today. We are going to continue with the same chapter, the second part of the same chapter in our next class. So thank you so much, children. Have a good day. Thank you.